Hey guys, today we look at the question we all want to know. Is drifting faster than gripping? The answer is, well, okay, maybe the answer isn't that straightforward. So let's get into it. Whether drifting or gripping through a corner is faster depends on the numerous variables the driver encounters while racing, such as the car, the traction, and the turn itself. Neither style is always better. However, by a large margin, gripping remains the easier driving style to master. Before we decide on when to use which style, let's look at the factors that favor each side. We will begin by looking at scenarios that can help make drifting the faster driving style. Quickly before I get much further, I would like to state that all these variables will be based on the technique where a driver drifts for the entire duration of the corner. Now, in no particular order, let's look at these factors. The first variable may seem obvious, but still should be on this list nonetheless. Tight corners. The reason a tight turn gives an advantage to drifting is because cars have a very hard time negotiating turns near their turning radius. Drifting through a hairpin corner can often rotate the car faster and point the car out of the turn sooner, enabling the driver to accelerate sooner and inevitably exit the corner faster. The second element that helps make drifting faster is if the vehicle is all-wheel drive. It may seem trivial, but all-wheel drive makes for much more efficient acceleration out of a corner. When drifting a rear-wheel drive car, the driver uses the throttle to keep the rear tire spinning and to maintain the slide. This means when the driver attempts to accelerate out of the corner, he must first straighten the car to accelerate at peak efficiency. If a driver isn't drifting, they are able to accelerate at peak efficiency the moment they touch the throttle. The all-wheel drive function can help decrease the difference in speed between the two techniques when exiting a corner. A significant factor that results in drifting being faster than gripping is if you are racing on a loose material. The reason drifting is often faster is due to the larger slip angle on loose surfaces and the reduced grip. The easiest way to think about how drifting on a loose material is faster is to think of the car as a vector. Instead of attempting to change the direction of the vehicle using the front tires, the driver uses the engine power and huge slip angle to push the car into a new direction. The final element that can make drifting quicker while racing is a little controversial, and I have my doubts about how effective it truly is. However, it is a popular idea on most discussion boards. The concept says that in extreme either downhill or uphill conditions, drifting can help regulate speed more easily because you won't need to use the brakes to slow the car. The idea is to use the drift to slow the vehicle, allowing you to use the brakes less, which otherwise would have pushed the weight of the vehicle forward while cornering. Like I said before, I have my doubts about how effective it is in the real world, but I can see how reducing your weight transfer in a downhill environment would give you an advantage. Now that we have some possibilities that increase the efficiency and viability of drifting, we should take a look at what could make gripping faster as well. The first major factor that favors gripping is tire wear. Simply, drifting wears your tires faster, making races consisting of multiple laps extremely favorable to grip drivers. To see the side effects drifting has on your tires, you only need a few turns to feel the reduction in traction, so even an event that is relatively short can still favor gripping towards the end. The next factor is pure power. Although nearly any car has the ability to drift, not every car can actually drift while maintaining speed. Drifting requires a minimum amount of force to spin the tires and propel the car forward. And if your car can barely maintain the slide, you will end up with a laughably slow exit speed, thus ruining any chance you had at beating a grip driver. This next factor requires only a brief explanation since we covered the drivetrain before. What I'm talking about is, of course, two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive does the exact opposite of four-wheel drive and actually increases handling and performance for grip drivers while reducing the overall speed of drifting. Gripping gains an advantage because of the reduced strain on the front tires. This improves steering response and reduces understeer. Another situation that enhances the speed of gripping over drifting is on high grip surfaces. High grip can mean everything from concrete to asphalt. Simply, the higher traction surfaces amplify all of the issues drifting may encounter while increasing the usable traction for grip drivers. Tire wear for drifters becomes even less manageable, sliding creates more drag, and the extra traction allows the grip drivers to be even more effective through the corners. The final factor that gives gripping an advantage is aerodynamics. Aerodynamic elements are most efficient when the car is traveling in the correct orientation. If you are sliding sideways, any wings or canards will only be working at a fraction of efficiency compared to the grip driver's aerodynamic elements, which will be working at near optimum efficiency at all times. Now that we've talked about all the major factors that affect drifting and grip driving styles, we should probably put these factors on one page so we can better compare them. Starting off, we have the factors that can increase the potential speed for drifting: tight corners, four-wheel drive, low grip surfaces, and either steep uphill or downhill racing. Now onto the considerably more boring driving style. These are the factors which favor gripping: lower tire wear, lower power, two-wheel drive, high grip, and of course the aerodynamics. Before I give you my final thoughts, I want to restate that nothing is absolute and not every factor can be perfectly weighted and predicted. This video only represents my personal understandings, experiences, and readings. Now, I will give you my personal opinion given all these factors. Overall, by simply looking at the comparison chart we have created, it's easy to see that common driving conditions almost always favor gripping through a corner. Not to mention the fact that only a couple of factors favoring a grip technique will overwhelm the many factors that can favor drifting. The main factors to look out for when deciding on the ideal driving style is the drivetrain of your car, how tight the corners are, and what surface you are driving on. Unless you are driving on extremely tight roads with dirt and a four-wheel drive car, it will be very hard to justify drifting for any extended amount of time. This, however, does not discredit the technique. Because these factors do arise in races, and often when the environment permits its use, the results give us a spectacle almost anyone can enjoy. So drift away, burn those rear tires to the ground. Just be sure to post a YouTube video about it so we can all enjoy the spectacle. As always, if you have any specific questions, be sure to ask in the comments and I will either feature you in a video or answer your questions directly. See you next time, guys!